was Judge Older. He was Charles Manson. I'm Judge Older. I'm Tiger Man. In the zoo in San Diego, I ride a motorcycle. I ride a motorcycle in L.A. A bunch of straight Satans call themselves devils, say they're get down, say they got the money over on another edge of town. They got the Beach Boys tied up in their contracts. You can't get into the real estate because Pasadena is a submarine that's run by Jody Hoover, who's over in the chapel, who comes from Colombia with the drug cartel, saying he got money with 2 guns and he taking that pussy. I blew him to hell. It's that simple. Linda Bell, ding along, sing along. Mitch Miller, the movies. I'm Bing Crosby, hard as a hobo, loves the Roman fields of clover. I'm Gene Autry. I'm all those guys. I'm in Other Children. I'm down a wave or 2 up underneath you. What you're doing, you're over flying with the eagles and the fathers of great lands, but I'm king on other wings and baddest motherfucker that ever did live.
I've done the same thing all my life, 24 hours a day, so I'm about 15 Supreme Court judges in my mind. In other words, I know more about law than anybody in the world. I know more about courts and procedures and criminology and penology and procedure than any card sharp dealing doubles off the bench in Monte Carlo. I know more about the economy, more about money, more about the government than any 10 presidents you got. You know, in other words, I've sat in solitary confinement and I watched everything you guys do. And the truth is, you're all lying to yourselves. You know?
I'll do whatever I feel is necessary to do whatever I feel is necessary, because I believe in George Washington. I believe in the Constitution of George Washington. I believe in the United States government. I don't believe in Abraham Lincoln. I never did. I don't like him at all. That's the truth.
Okay, thank you.
The record is clear that you do have a history of drug usage. I think there's some indication to use LSD. No drug usage?
I've smoked a little grass and I've taken a little acid, but drugs, no.
Okay.
We don't call them drugs. I mean, you guys call them drugs.
Okay.
You think you'd ever get to know Charlie Manson?
Well, it depends on which one. I have to be a different Charlie Manson for each procedure that I'm in. If I'm under a doctor that gives me medication, I have to be a nice person there to do whatever game he's playing. There's a mirror on the wall, and I've been reflecting this thing for 40 years. What the real Charles Manson was what his mother taught him, and I forgot that quite a long time ago.
He also revealed Manson the philosopher, Manson the mystic.
Well, you have certain powers of darkness that you invoke from the mind like a mirror upon the wall. And the power of life and death, or the power to hurt, can be dispensated to the mind throughout the world of darkness. Well, you see, I live in the underworld. You live in the overworld. I do a lot of things underworld that you guys don't see. I made about 75 albums in Vacaville. And I bootlegged about 3 times more music than the Beatles put out.
Music?
Yeah. I had the surfboard, the Beach Boys, but I didn't sell it. Because every time I would go to the music, they'd want to change the music. So rather than change the music, I went into the subculture with it. I got an old nuclear submarine that I had from the Navy when I was Section 8 in Leavenworth, Kansas, with Brother Dynamite and the Mafia coming off of Frankie Costello and the horseshoe pits in Pennsylvania in 1952.
So we'll say if down the line you were actually given a parole date, what would your plans be?
I would go poof.
Poof?
Poof.
So you really don't have any parole plans?
Well, I don't think parole would be a reasonable perspective. I think wouldn't take a parole anyway, not really. I'm thinking, you know, I'm here, we're going through the changes of it, but I would like to go back to court. I'd like to get my chance, my day in court. We're based and founded on that. Sooner or later, even if I die tonight, you're still going to have to give me a trial. Sooner or later, that court's going to click. And when that big chair clicks, that's going to be right, and I'm going to get my rights.
The turnaround comes to push, push comes to shove. Shove comes to looking around and see where you're up above or down below, where you're at and how it turns. Something that says it's good, say it's bad, that's good, say what it is, that's cool. So when you gets cool, you got some fool come through the door, he don't know what he's doing about what. He just come and fell out of the water like a fish on the floor. And he don't know what he's doing, he got no idea where he's at, and he's coming in other people's lives talking about words he don't even know nothing about. Then he comes into my world, my life, and tells me, some old punk-ass motherfucker shit that's going to get me killed if I don't put up some force fields in his mind and get his ding-dong ass off of me. They feel secure as long as they got me locked up in a cell. They feel like, yeah, they feel like they got the man right there in the box where they can go back and say what's what to who and said where. Are you representing who and what?
People look at you today, 20 years later, and they still have no idea what you're about. Tell me in a sentence who you are.
Nobody. I'm nobody. I'm a tramp, a bum, a hobo. I'm a boxcar and a jug of wine. And a straight razor if you get too close to me.